The tunnel entrance stood like a gaping maw in the earth, its crumbling stone archway barely visible under thick ivy and moss. The air outside was crisp, but an unnatural cold radiated from the darkness within. Mark, Sarah, Jake, and Emily had spent weeks researching the legend and abandoned tunnel. Sealed off decades ago after workers mysteriously vanished. Some claimed they had been buried alive, others said something took them. Despite the warnings, curiosity had won. Mark aimed his flashlight into the abyss, the beam swallowed by the tunnel's inky void. "Just an old tunnel," he muttered, stepping inside. His voice echoed, an eerie reminder of how alone they were. The others hesitated but followed, their footsteps crunching against the damp stone floor. The deeper they walked, the colder it became. The walls, slick with moisture, bore strange marking symbols no one recognized. Emily ran her fingers over them. "Looks ancient. But this tunnel isn't that old, right?" Jake checked his phone. "No signal. We should be careful. These places can be unstable." Sarah shivered, rubbing her arms. "It feels like we're being watched." A whisper drifted through the tunnel. They froze. The sound had no clear source, yet it seemed to come from everywhere. A soft, breathy murmur, like words just beyond understanding. Emily spun around. "Did you hear that?" Mark swallowed. "It's probably just the wind," but there was no wind. They pressed forward, unwilling to admit fear, but the unease grew heavier. The tunnel twisted in ways that made no sense, branching into paths that hadn't been on their map. The deeper they went, the more it felt like the tunnel was changing. Then Sarah screamed. She stumbled back, pointing at the ground. A set of footprints led ahead of them, bare human, but fresh. "No one else came in, right?" she whispered. Jake hesitated, then turned to go back. "Maybe we should." The tunnel behind them was gone. Where the entrance had been, there was now solid rock. No sign of the path they had taken, no cracks, no light. Only an endless wall of stone. Panic set in. Flashlights darted around, beams trembling. Emily's breath quickened. "This isn't possible." "We were just a shadow moved ahead, tall, twisted, too thin to be human." The whispering grew louder, swelling into a chorus of voices, crying, pleading, warning. The air turned suffocating. The shadow shifted closer, its limbs stretching unnaturally as if bending through the darkness itself. Sarah clutched Mark's arm. "We need to get out." Then a hand, cold and unseen, gripping her wrist. She shrieked, yanking away as her flashlight flickered. The light caught something a face, gaunt and hollow-eyed, its mouth twisted in an eternal scream. Then it was gone. Jake bolted forward, dragging the others with him. They ran blindly, lungs burning, hearts hammering against their ribs. The tunnels seemed to stretch, endless and shifting, but then a light. The entrance reappeared. They tumbled out, gasping, collapsing onto the grass outside. But when they turned back, the tunnel had vanished. Where there had been an opening, there was now only a solid wall of rock. The whispers faded, but as they caught their breath, a final word lingered in the air. "Leave."